both the normal traditional style of teaching with the virtual style of teaching. So teacher is not present, but still the teaching continues. So there are many reasons why we need to move to a blended mode of teaching and learning. Of course, most of you may also be having your own views on the options of attendance as we look at whether attendance should be taken, whether attendance should not be taken, whether students who don't attend classes, should they get a degree, should they qualify, should they be allowed to write the exams. So there are many issues. Of course, there are also questions which are related to should students be failed in the exams? Should they be given at least a D grade and allow them to pass without any backlog? There are various thought process that we look at, and of course, various views are there. And I'm sure we may differ in views also. I may have a different view, you may have a different view, and that is okay. But still, as we look at, I was surprised to see some of the government records coming in, and it helped me actually, though I totally did not move into a blended form of teaching. But this idea of blended mode of teaching and learning helped me to actually think through my own teaching learning process. That's what I would like to share with you. So here is basically the blended mechanism is talking about combining the digital learning tools with the traditional classroom face-to-face learning. So we should not replace face-to-face learning mechanism. That's very simple. Everybody appreciates. We should not also stop using the blackboard. We must actually tend to speak from that and teach from that, because students are more used to that learning. But that is not the only best way of learning. So we need to blend multiple mechanisms is what we are trying to look at. And then maybe we should allow students to use their equipment or their tools if they have any, right? Many times I have students who have brought in their pads or mobile phones. In fact, when I was teaching programming also, where I used to write the code on the board, later, I started typing the code on the screen and show them live how it is getting compliant. So that was my first form of kind of a blended teaching, where I am not writing everything on the board and explaining, but I'm actually typing on the screen. And it is also giving the same feeling because I type the code and they actually follow the code because they are also writing the code. Initial part. But when I moved on to data structures and I was teaching that subject, the longer codes were there. And because I've already taught them how to code or how to write codes, it was easy for me to show at least a function on the screen and then run it on the, I show the algorithm and I show them the program, I explain the algorithm, I show them the program, and then run the program and show the output. So it was easy for them to learn, and I could save a lot of time. I could cover more content. I could repeat some of the lectures. So that was what was the kind of blended learning that we talk about. But here, when AICT and UGC were thinking about blended learning, I will share a document also. In fact, I'll show you the document which AICT has put up. It is there with me, and most of the content I have picked up from there because it came as a push from there. And now MEP is coming as a push from there. And you must also be looking at trying to bring in a teaching learning process which is based on the mother tongue or the more colloquial language that we use, so that it is easy for them to understand. In the initial days, of course, when you complicate and when you look at complex subjects, when you have to present complex algorithms or theorems and you have to explain to them, it's very difficult to explain in the local language or the mother tongue. But then, of course, definitely we can try to customize as much as possible, at least translate them or explain them in their own this thing. So students and teachers are still in the same location, but still we are blending many things. So we have in fact created a blended environment already, and we use that. But then there is also something which is called a flipped classroom model. A flipped classroom model is the classroom is flipped in the sense that the students are learning on their own pace and in their own mechanism. So we rearrange the learning experience and we maximize the effectiveness of face-to-face time in the classroom. Maybe we have few lectures and there's a lot of content to be taught. Now, what to do? So, can something be flipped to their rooms so that some content they learn in the room and come to the class? And in the class, there is more of interaction and there is more of discussion and reasoning and learning. We are actually looking at more of a teacher-centric learning. Teacher is sitting and the teacher is standing and students are sitting and we are speaking to them and they are listening to us. And the major challenge that we have today is about we teach, but we are not able to clarify many doubts. And there are, of course, we all know there are better teachers and their content is available free of cost on the internet. You go to YouTube, you get better lectures. You go to Coursera, you get better lectures, better slides, better material. So knowledge is everywhere now. But then, as a teacher, if I have to maintain that aspect, so can I take my level of teaching to one level up? Is where the challenge comes. So basically, is that we should provide them digital learning mechanisms and then teach. So that is something that we need to be there. So we should encourage them to access digital learning materials, which may be there on the internet. And then at the same time, they learn and they come to us for an interaction time. They ask us doubts and then we clarify them. So the challenge for me and for all of us is that we need to take it to the level of more than what they have been teaching. So that is what we need to really look at, is what is my challenge that is there before us, right? So let's see. So there are all these things are available, right? What are the digital materials that are there? There are video lectures, there are podcasts, there are recordings, there are papers, research papers are there. Maybe you want to teach something. There is a very good survey paper on that aspect. So, but it's 30 pages. And then you can't teach it in the class, but you can ask them to read through. You can ask them to make points. Or maybe you'll find a presentation on that paper. So you can ask them to do that. And then, we transfer a bulk of the necessary knowledge from the teacher to the student before each class. Before the class, they come prepared. Now, that's a challenge. What is the challenge? The challenge is I, as a teacher, must be well versed with all the content that I ask my students to read. Maybe if you have been to some curriculum development workshops recently, last 1 year, I've been in 10, 12 places at least. Last 3, 4 years, I've been in some 30 universities, NITs, IIITs, various places where I have not gone to IIT, I have not been, but many of the universities, many private universities in Jaipur and other places, I've been there. And at least in 10 NITs, I've been there, a part of the syllabus committees in artificial intelligence, data engineering, data science, or computer science and engineering, information technology, information security, like that. And then recently on quantum technologies. So these are things that I am grappling with. So here is, in those, I've always requested that why don't we give an equivalent NPTEL class or a Coursera class or any of the Swayam tool that is there or lecture that is there. We put a link in that. Right now the challenge is for the teacher to cross one step higher than that. So he should have gone through the content, he should have gone through the material, because some questions are put up there and they come and ask in your class. You should be able to answer that without any this thing. And then because they prepare and come and they are ready for your lecture, which is more of a brief description of what they're learning. Now, what you need to do is you just have to take them through the doubts, take them through the interaction, maybe give them some more problems or some more questions to think through. Recently, of late, when I try to ask students to think, they are under heavy strain or heavy stress, because I prepare my lecture in a way to make them think to answer. So I leave the loose ends and say, okay, now this is what has happened, this is what has happened, what will happen next? What should be the obvious thing that should happen? Or it has not happened, but what can happen? So that's a question that I give. And they have to think through what I have taught, and they have to visualize or imagine So trying to follow the Bloom's taxonomy, and of course there are many questions on Bloom's taxonomy as well. But then what I see specifically is that we have the last level or the highest level where we talk of create, where we talk of bring in. I will share some slides towards the end, but we need to make them create something or innovate something. So that's what we do when we guide PhD. We ask students to read through a particular content, and whatever is not done, they should attempt. Right. So those are the questions that we leave, so that the course doesn't end there, or a topic in the course doesn't end there, but it takes you to a one question up. And this is only possible when you try this blended form of teaching. Now, why we don't want to try this blended form of teaching? Why we don't want students, please listen to these videos and come tomorrow for the class. Please read these slides and come tomorrow for the class. We don't give the slides that we teach. I usually share all the slides that I teach. I create a PDF of that and share those slides. Some of the animations are missing, but they have seen the animation for those who have come into the class, so they know what has happened in the slide, right? So at least they have a content to read through, and they can follow. And there are multiple examples that I can think of where we can show them the demonstrations and ask them to go through those content and come. So I will show some of them where we can ask them that please go through them and come and let's discuss. So this is something that picks up a challenge. Now, what is the advantage of blended learning? As we see, it frees up time in the class for teachers to support student activities, to lead discussions, to facilitate engagement. So we don't engage with students anymore. We don't remember their names because we are not able to have a big number of students now. We have 100 plus in each class that I teach. So it's very difficult to remember all the names. Few names maybe we'll remember, but we hardly engage. We take the class. We don't have time to ask doubts because the lecture is continuing and we have not planned in that way. But let us say they have gone through your slides and come to your class, and then you are ready. Okay, please ask questions now, or let's build the lecture. Let me take you through the slides. And as I'm explaining, because they've already read it, they know what we are talking about, and it will be easy for them to visualize for them. Some of them may seriously do a good study as well, and they may look up for related material also, and then come up and ask you a few questions. It may be sometimes embarrassing, but yes, we are teachers and we are learners as well. So we can say very politely that yes, we will come back to you on that, and then we should take it further. It will be a learning for us and learning for many. These days, we are seeing that after half an hour, we are not able to maintain the retention of the students, and we have to use these blended forms, which give us we transfer some of the content beforehand. Maybe you want to cover 50 minutes content, you give 30 minutes of the content already for them to read and come. Some of them will read, many of them will read, but once they find that there is an engaging discussion that's going to happen, I'm going to learn more if I read through and attend his class. I'm sure that class numbers will increase. There may be a challenge because sometimes students don't want to attend classes, so that's nothing we can do about it. So because you give the content already, so they're very happy, they don't want to come to the class. So pros and cons are there, but definitely we're going to have some stimulating discussions for those who are interested. If let us say out of 100, even if 70 students turn up because you've given the material and they want to discuss with you, that's going to be great. This thing. So here we want to make it that the student is centric. We are now making teacher centric. I drive the course. I want to teach what I want to teach. They have to listen. And there is a syllabus. I stick to the syllabus. If I want to teach more, if I want to teach less, it is with me. The students cannot tell me what I should teach and what I should not teach. But in a blended form of teaching, it becomes student centric. So student is the stakeholder, the most important the person in our campus is the student. He's like a customer on the back, right? Of course, we are not getting the salaries because they are paying the fees. It's getting because we are offering service and we are getting paid for the service that we are offered. So many times students should not think we are paying the fees and we are getting the salaries. We should not think like that. but then they are the most important people, and we must ensure that whatever they're dreaming, whatever their aspirations, we must fulfill. And this is basically to make it more easy for them. We need to look at many modes of learning, and that's where we'll club the face-to-face teaching, the online teaching, and the virtual mode of teaching and distance teaching. We have done that in a couple of institutes where teachers were not there. So we have offered our services online, presented the lectures to them, and visited them and discussed. Because most of the lectures are online. When we went after a week or 10 days, uh, we would kind of summarize in about 4 lectures, 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. They would come on a Saturday, and I have seen that they are very anxious because they have learned so many things, but they could not ask in the online mode because time is less, and the teacher has to go somewhere, and they can't meet me after that. And they have tried with some other colleagues there, but they could not get that whatever we have taught. So they came back for those Saturdays to attend those extra lectures for 4 hours also. 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening, and it was more of a doubt clearing session. It was more of reinforcing the things that they have learned. So that is where the blended mode of learning will make it easy, not make it difficult for the teacher. Or once you make everything ready, and once you're prepared, whatever content is being offered outside in the world, in the virtual world, whatever content is available, if you're ready with that content as well, that you also referred, that you also have looked at some of the questions, you also solved some of the assignments, and kept you updated, keep yourself updated. So that's where we can look at. And now, many times we can make use of these vocational courses, the multidisciplinary courses, and of course the multimodal approaches. So now let us blend some of these. Some courses already existing, some are multidisciplinary. So I'm a computer science faculty. I want to offer a course, but some other student can't take it because it's not part of his curriculum. But if it's offered as a blended course, he can take it because he may not be in the same campus, or he may be elsewhere, but he can do that. And how is that possible? You may be really wondering. I will speak of that, but you would have heard about the ABC ID that the government has created. It's also called the APAR ID. Maybe you can look up. ABC stands for Academic Bank of Credits. So there's a bank, so where you can earn the credits and deposit the credits. So they are stored in your bank. So how many number of courses that you complete, they are stored as a this thing. So you can earn those credits from multiple venues and store them in the Academic Bank of Credits, and then go back to a university which will recognize those credits and give you a certificate. I was working on a proposal with AICT also. AICT is offering a PG certificate for faculty who have done 5 or 6 courses online, right? And then a 1 month physical interaction to cover some of the doubts. So many of the institutions, reputed institutions of national importance, they have started these courses on this course called PG certificate. The online courses are going on now, and maybe sometime later they will have a 1 month interaction, or I don't know how many days they will be able to do it, but they will spend, and the faculty will, who have taught those lectures, they will clarify that out. So there's a kind of a blended this thing, but they are not giving a degree, but they give a PG certificate for those who are faculty members already. So a specialization certificate is going to come. So that's a kind of a blended model. It's a very good model. They're all coming because of NEP has brought out these various ideas, trying to bring them together. So we can propose these things. So this is what I was explaining, that's a teacher-centric learning. So all the students are sitting before you, and you are standing before them and explaining. Okay, you are having a slides, and maybe you're using a blackboard, or maybe you're using a PowerPoint presentation, and you're making the presentation. So that is one form of teacher-centric learning. Now, can you think of making it student-centric learning? So where will the students be is the question, right? If you want to make it student-centric, right? Most of the countries have moved to that level, and that's what I would like to present before you. We should make it student-centric learning. So I'll show you a picture. The next slide, you can understand. Now, please identify who is the teacher here in these diagrams. Right? Maybe in the top right diagram, if you see, where is the teacher? Okay. Yeah, we can look at maybe all look like students only, right? So it's a kind of a classroom situation. Of course, we cannot do that with 100 students, but maybe in a lab kind of a situation where 30 students come, we can definitely do this kind of things which are spread out, right? And maybe we can structure our classrooms like this as we look at, right? These are some of the classrooms, or this is a classroom where you are actually blending the virtual mechanism with a teacher mechanism. But the center, who is at the center? The teacher is not at the center. Of course, here the teacher is in the center, but actually they are all sitting on benches and tables like this. They are sitting on table like this. They are sitting on table like this, and they have multiple devices. Now, just imagine the challenge of this teacher who is taking a lecture. Maybe is engaging them for 2 hours, and they all have their devices, but he has to capture their attendance. He has to not attendance, attention. He has to ensure that he is able to present the things better. He is able to explain the things better. So if slowly we move this mechanism, where of course in a big classroom you have multiple, in the place where I'm sitting, you can see some of the TVs are placed on the other sides where the lecture is going on. There's a, what do you say, there's a presentation screen on the front, and then to the sides you have these televisions where you can see the slides. You don't have to strain yourself because of the distance in a large classroom. So something similar is what is actually happening. So if you can make some groups sitting there, and then you move around and then you discuss with them. So it is not that you are presenting a lecture, but you are making a discussion, and they are reading and they are asking questions, and you have asked them to search for that information, find out that information, explain, and maybe they can write the code, they can run, they can simulate, they can do some experiments, maybe they can conduct a virtual lab and find out. So some of these things that they can see, they can grapple with some models. You can give them some models and you can give them some circuits and say, okay, connect those circuits now and see. So this is the kind of thing. Of course, maybe in the numbers that we have, about 100 plus, 150, 120, if you have in a classroom, it may be difficult. But if you have a class strength of 30 or 40, when they come for the lab, I think this can be done. And just imagine the kind of impact that those 3-4 hours of engagement will have. Our labs are also teacher-centric. Teacher stands in the front and explains on a LCD projector. Students are sitting in a classroom mode and then typing on the systems and doing the programming if you're computer science faculty. But by and large, most of the labs, you have separate setups. So everybody does one experiment at a time, and there's a rotation of experiments. So in a sense, if I have to have so many kids like that, so and then I'm standing in between and explaining to them, that will be a great student-centric learning is the challenge that I want to place before you. So how is student-centric learning? It's again pushing us to these things of where there are multiple entry and exit points. So sometimes it is student-centric when you allow a student to go away and do something else, then come back at a later time and complete the course. These days, many of the postgraduate students who are with us, they want to leave for internship. So after internship, they don't come back to complete their course. They say, we have done equivalent to our dissertation. So actually, whether they're doing equivalent work or not is not assessed. So we have a big challenge. So I was mooting to our Senate and other bodies saying that, yes, we need to allow them to go, let them go, and let them come back for a semester and complete their dissertation. Because dissertation is an important aspect as well. So, and then we are also promoting mother tongue and other languages which are easy to understand. Maybe in the across North India, Hindi may be easy to explain. Everybody understands. So we can do something like that. And not only that, can we actually give a multidisciplinary approach of some students learning maybe management, maybe commerce, maybe some arts, maybe some other courses as well? Because by and large, we are only looking at the course to be specifically pushed in one direction. We need to actually give them a flair of multiple things. Now, when you have this kind of a setup, you can actually think of having the open book exams, and maybe you can do a group exam as well. What do you mean by group exam? A group of students write an exam, you evaluate the group and give grades in the group. So these are opportunities. When you break down the thing, we don't have time. That's why we are not able to do this. We're not able to give them an open book exam because we are not able to set the paper quality in that level that they can use. You use laptop, you use internet. We will give you, you write the code. Can we give them that opportunity? It's a big challenge. Recently, we have been doing few courses on quantum computing, and we have seen that we are giving them 30 minutes time to answer a quiz, and in 30 minutes they can search at least half of the questions. Maybe half of the questions may be easy, and the other half they can search, so they may score well. But then we discussed among the faculty, and then we said, okay, even if the questions are available, it will take some time to search them. So we have increased the way that we answer, and we have also tried to defeat the way the large language models respond to questions. So when you give an approximate value, it is not able to choose. If you give the exact questions and give all the options, which is correct, we try to bring in, because it's more of an approximate answer. The language models like ChatGPT or Perplexity or any of the Gemini or anything that we use. So we have tried to defeat that. So that's the kind of thought process that is involved in blended learning. So what is happening in blended learning? You are allowing them go anywhere, write from anywhere, no problem. But write the exam. Let's see. So there is an onus on the teacher to make it more challenging. So open book system, when some other faculty members were allowing, it was very difficult for me to really imitate them. But now when I start setting my assignments, so I try to look at that they will not get the solutions. Because many times we do it in the question paper. They give a very tough question, and it's all the more challenging for them because they are already having an exam pressure on them to score marks. But can we do that in our labs where we can do this, right? So we should, and then, who actually benefits from this? Some serious learners who want to go beyond, who are mature learners, we call them, or who are good students. They are always at the mediocre level. We are teaching at the mediocre level, ensuring that everybody understands. But there are some guys who are very sharp and very learned. They have read in advance. They have listened to other lectures on that. So they are aware of what you are going to teach. And maybe some of them are preparing in advance and come prepared to the class to listen what you're going to present. So they know, they may be laughing, smiling when you make mistakes, or when you teach in a concept. Maybe you make a mistake in a concept, but they won't make noise. They are mature, so they don't. They leave it like that. But the question that we are looking at is, can I make it more challenging for the mature learners? Can I differentiate between one set of students and I give them some content, other set of students I give them another set of content, and the mature learners I give a slightly more difficult problem? Maybe if I'm able to give in the class 5 questions, right? 2 questions everybody can solve, 2 questions only 50% can solve, another 2 questions only 10% can solve. So then a grading comes in, and the people who are able to solve the last 2 questions would have very easily solved the first 4. The last 2 are very you need to really apply your mind and think. So our teaching will become effective and great. And that's where the concept of ABC that I talk about, academic bank of credits. People have been given APAR ID, so most of their students may also have an APAR ID, and their qualification is going to be added into that credits. So if you're filling some credits, you can use those credits for some other course, and then you can get a waiver for some of the subjects which you've already studied. It's going to be easy. Maybe if some course takes 2 years, and if you have studied 10 courses out of that already, and you have the credit already ready with you, you can take it forward and complete. Maybe the university may put a restriction that you have to do 20. So we've already done 10. What is the use of repeating it? Many times our MTech programs or PG programs are like that. We repeat the same courses over and over again. But what we can do, because they have got those credits already, we give them those credits, but we say, but we can't add it to your credits. You don't have to study those subjects again. Study 10 other different subjects. Then we are actually pushing them to pick up new subjects. Then they may say, why should I study all from the core branch? Let me do some electives. Let me do music. Let me do maybe learn a Sanskrit language. Let me do some study on Indian knowledge, IKC, Indian knowledge and culture. So some of the courses that we have, IKC courses that people are talking about, let me read a little bit about that. So we are encouraging them to become more rounded, more well informed, I would say. So that's what is this. So please look at this slide is very interesting. It's coming from the PDF that I'll share with you a little later along with these slides. The PDF is talking about blended learning, and here he says where we give flexibility and quality, where students can pick their teachers and timings also. You can listen to the lecture at a particular time, and you can pick your teachers, and you earn the credits, and the credits are added to your ABC. So you don't have to take the courses from your university only. Just think of, these are broad thought process that's going on where we can think of. And you can actually design your own syllabus, curriculum. People have designed the curriculum, and then you have to follow the curriculum. You have to follow the syllabus. But I would want to design a curriculum for myself because of my interest. So, or I need for something, I want to do something. So what I do, I try to pick up that, and then I put it in my content, and I share those needs and that. And then I can also design my degree. Maybe, of course, the university does not give that much freedom, but university may give a flexibility of saying that, okay, you can choose what are the courses you want to do. And if you do these courses, we'll give this degree. If you do these courses, we'll give this degree, like that. So maybe over a period of time, when things become more flexible, uh, when you do a certain buckets of courses that you have, you take some from this bucket, some from that bucket, some from that bucket, and you do a course, then you can propose that, can I have a degree like this because I've done these courses? And if universities become more flexible, definitely they will do that. And that's what actually we are moving towards. A new education policy actually wants us to give that flexibility to students to ensure the learning is student centric. What he wants to learn, he may want to learn so many things, but that is, we say it is all extracurricular or co-curricular. You can't put it into your curriculum. You won't get credits for that, right? So that's where we have this freedom. And study through any mode. It's a real world system where you can study through virtual world, or maybe some recorded lectures, or you can listen to a live lecture which is going on, or you can also listen to a live teacher who is teaching. So all these possibilities are there. So you can study through any mode, and you can have the learning or exams on demand. Learning on demand, we put all the lectures, we put all the slides, we put all the quizzes, we put all of them back, and then we put it in a time frame of some constraints. If you do these courses, then only you can write this assignment. If you complete this assignment and score some marks, then only you can take this exam. And most of the assignments are auto-graded. You would have studied or listened to some of the lectures which talked about how the grading is done and all those things, right? So you can take the exam when you are ready. Maybe some courses you are not ready. So students come and say, sir, I had headaches, I had stomach pain. Many of your students may also be coming. We conduct a re-exam for them. It's called the makeup exam. Of course, the convener of the UG committee or somebody or the department head has to approve. Then only you can come and take those exams. But here is an option where, okay, this is the set of days when the exams will be held. If you can't write that dates, then you can write the exam when you're ready. So the student prepares and he's ready for the exam. And then he says, okay, let me take the exam. And the exam is available online. You take the exam the next 3 hours. People will copy. Yeah, please copy. So can we really trust our online mechanisms to really test students' knowledge? Is he really copying and getting? If he's copying, that means the content is available. Any LLM is able to fetch him that results and give it to him. But if the teacher is very innovative, then he will write a question, he will frame a question which will defeat the language model. There is no ready intelligence available. There is no intelligent LLM, I would say, right? So I hope maybe over a period of time, if the questions become intelligent, the search of answers will also become intelligent, right? But I think that's where we draw a line between human intelligence and artificial intelligence is what we can look at, right? So if you look at some of these things, you will really appreciate. They are good things, but I think these are things that India is looking at. That can we do something? Because there's a huge population. You may not be aware, there are about 1250 universities, right? 1250 universities, private, government, state, central, all those things, IITs, NITs, triple ITs, a variety of universities, institutions put together, right? So all of them, if you look at, right, are still not able to meet the population that we have. We may be thinking we're doing, oh, so many seats are being left. No, actually, so many courses are not being taken. Everybody wants to do a BTech computer science. That's unfortunate for us, right? But we are not actually, if we do something like this, while doing, parents are interested in BTech computer science. So the student is doing BTech computer science, but he does some of these things, which he is interested. And what a joy, he will be so happy to come to the class, to come to the college, to engage with teachers, to talk to teachers. Teachers will be very happy because there will be engagement at various points of time. It is not only when he has a class, and he will also not prepare only some subjects, he has to update himself. He will also enjoy his class. He will look forward to his class. Sometimes he will be afraid of going to the class because they are more informed than us. So I think it becomes learning very challenging. And over a period of time, the quality will come up like anything. So I think that is the challenge that is there before us. And I have given this academic bank of credits where they put up. So you can take up multiple skills, you can bring them together. You can do multidisciplinary matching of courses together so that some particular job may require that kind of mechanism you can try to bring in. You can merge regular courses, online courses, virtual courses, foreign university courses, merge all of them and get a degree. You can study in your own institutions and the international institutions. These days, if you qualify JEE, you can get into IIT Delhi, IIT Madras. But then you can do a BTech degree also on a fully online mode from IIT Madras. And surprising, some of the teachers teach as well, and then many students qualify. But the people who qualify JEE and get a degree is slightly different from the virtual degree or the online degree that the same degree is being offered to the same institute, but it's different because it's not qualified JEE. So there is a slight difference in the quality, but the way that the people are assimilating the course is same. IIT Bombay is offering a postgraduate diploma. So you can look at some of these things slowly coming up, where there is a kind of blended learning or fully online programs, where they will be able to track by asking them to come over for a period of interaction, where they actually see whatever they have been taught online, whether they have actually picked it. They will write some written exams using pen and paper or multiple choice questions without being in a virtual environment. But maybe over a period of time, there will be a fully, virtual exams which can be conducted. Because many of the prometric testing centers that we have, they conduct the online exams. Like, many of the GATE exams are conducted online these days. JEE is conducted online. So where people are coming to a place and doing it, but people can actually go to a center at their own time. All of them don't have to come at the same time. They can go at any time and sit in that prometric testing center and write the exam with no material, no online. You'll have an internet access. You will have the question paper before you, but you will not have any additional material. You can take some reading material. It's an open book system, but you will not have an access to internet where you can search and write the exam. So maybe that kind of thing may also come in, where a fully online course will be there, but the exam will be in a prometrics testing center at your own schedule, at your own time, whenever you want to get the degree. You complete the course, you take the degree, no problem. And then they may invite you for the convocation as well. So that is what we are moving towards. Many foreign universities have started doing that. So slowly these credits are going to be converted into degrees and diplomas. And this will not only, once a PhD is done, we don't have to stop learning. We can start learning after that. In fact, my supervisor told me when I got my PhD degree, my defense was over. He said, now you are qualified to do research. So I thought, sir, I completed research. Yeah, you have got a PhD degree, but you are now learned how to do research. Now you start doing research. Don't think you have mastered research. You have learned how to do research. Now you continue. Actually, you start doing research. So similarly, whenever you get the highest degree, don't think that is the end of it. Many of us have stopped learning. But it's very heartening to see, and I am very proud to inform you that we're doing some quantum courses, quantum computing courses. MNIT is hosting it, same EICP platform. We do it, and I'm happy to inform you that 40% of our participants, there are about 1,000 plus participants in each course. About 40% of them, that is about 400 people, are PhD holders. Amazing! I am really surprised. And when I interact with them on the WhatsApp group, or when they put messages to them, to me, very high positions they are in, very different universities, sometimes government universities as well. Some of my NIT colleagues are also doing those courses because it's a new course. So they are learning. So how is it possible? Yes, when such a system is evolving, where I blend these two mechanisms and bring them together, and I still earn some degrees or some certificates, the PG certificate. Please go and search what is the PG certificate a little later when you find time on the AICTE site. And it's also possible for the student to involve in a potpourri or types of courses that lead to something which is called Bachelor of Liberal Education, right? So you do it's like going to a restaurant and buying whatever you like to eat, right? If you go to a wedding, you are served what they prepared. You can't choose what you can. Of course, you can choose what you want to eat from what is placed on your table, in your plate. But if you go to bakery or if you go to a shop, then you can choose what you want, and then it's something like that. Most of the universities are like weddings where we are serving what we have prepared. The guest cannot say, I want to eat this, I want to eat that. Get me a dish for that. In some places, they put some stalls and they say, okay, we want white pasta or red pasta, that combination is there. But you cannot say, now I want popcorn or I want chips or something, and whatever, it's there. But then, yeah, when we talk about blended teaching, that's what is going to happen. So you look at this another diagram, which is quite exciting. Any subject combinations. So there is the notion of specialization is more of multidisciplinary. It's not going to be computer science, electronics, like that. In fact, quantum, I go back because my mind is full of that thought process. We are teaching physics, we are teaching mathematics, we are teaching electronics, we are teaching electrical, we are teaching computer science, we are teaching programming. So, multidisciplinary is there. We're teaching materials, physics, of course, again, material science, metallurgy. Some of the material science content is coming, right? How the quantum materials are there. We talk about quantum sensing. So variety of subjects. The background is all physics and maths. So many of the PhD holders that are there are from physics, maths, and electronics and computer science background. So I am, you can see many of the physics teachers are there. And when the new content is being presented, we have studied all these, but it's coming up fresh. It's being used in a different way, right? Maybe getting a Bachelor of Liberal Education, getting any degree that you can look at. So you have a big degree, you can break it into smaller degrees, and you can get maybe because we use the word diploma or certificate, different things that you can look at. You can convert credits into degrees and diplomas. You can earn at different points of time. You can earn three credits in every semester, something like that, and combine all of them and get into a degree. Okay, the educational currency is broken, so that's why we have a bank. So educational currency is a credit. So you can do a single credit course. I'm amazed in MNIT when I joined. One of my professor asked, "I want you to teach a single credit course." I said, I was amazed. I said, "What single credit? We can't teach these three courses for 3 full credits." So what we did, we are giving a snapshot of that course in 1 credit. So another credit is going to another course, another credit is going to another credit. So these three credits actually was an elective, but we are offering 3 single credit courses. So I have only 1 lecture in 1 week. So that was easy to accept as an additional load apart from the 2 subjects I was teaching. So I was amazed at the way that the teachers or the faculty were thinking. We want to offer them more, but we have less number of subjects. We have 30 subjects to teach. Now what do we do? Within this 30, all has to fit. So 130, 1 subject was split into 3 subjects, and then 3 contents were taught. Now I teach a course called Emerging Technologies for Computer Science. So I teach about 7-8 topics in 1 course, because that course the 7-8 courses cannot be taught. In some other universities, we had selected topics in computer science, selected topics in electronics, selected topics in various specialized subjects you can think of. So, and then this allows you to study many in many universities. You can study in a national university and in an international university. You can be a lifelong learner. You don't have to stop with a PhD. You can learn after that, PhD plus plus, something like that. Right? You can merge regular distance, online and virtual modes. Many foreign universities are coming and setting up universities or campuses in our country. We are wanting to set up our campuses abroad, which Pilani has a campus in Dubai and other places. IIT Roorkee is having a complex campus somewhere. Some of the IITs are having having their campus in Maldives, Mauritius, like that, right? Where they are going to offer. So you just imagine all these things. Why should we do all these things? Why not let the teachers from there teach? Let the students from here attend. There's an MOU between two universities, and we have this blended mechanism. They give 3 credits, they're transferred into your academic bank of credits, and you get a degree from some other university, which can combine and merge all these and give you a certificate or a diploma or a degree, whatever, however it may be. We need to bring in that flexibility. I just wanted to bring in this thought process before you, because what will happen is there will be more student engagement. We may not implement blended learning, but what I did was I brought in all these features into my teaching, into my engagement, the way to break down and give the content and try to bring the lectures into a discussion mode and things like that, right? So the interaction is their responsibility for learning. Once you teach them this mechanism, they can learn at any point of time. They may join an industry and they are wanting to switch a career, and they may say, what should I do? Okay, let me go back, let me do that course, let me do this, something like that, right? So you can have very good learning outcomes. Obviously, institution reputation will increase. There'll be very flexible teaching and learning environment, and you can also have a continuous learning. You can also do more self-learning because you're prepared to address the students in a blended mode. You can do that. We can do that, right? What are the benefits is there are a lot of collaboration options that are there. There is an increased flexibility, there's an increased interaction, there is enhanced learning, and we can all be virtual citizens, and we can improve our digital learning skills. That's the improved benefit. Now, the whole idea is the role of a teacher will change. He will change from a person who delivers lectures to somebody who is a coach, who is a mentor. Who is a coach? Coach is one who is playing. Coach is one who is currently fully aware of what's going on in that particular area, domain, whatever, right? And then a mentor. You want to mentor somebody, you need to be fully aware of the challenges or struggles that they may have. So classroom instruction has mostly been teacher directed, top down, and one size fits all. Blended learning will change this. One size fits all. For all the 120 students, you give the same lecture. You talk the same topic. You don't do any change. It's the same for anybody. If he's not following the lecture, you will give him the same content. If he's very bright and already knows everything, you are giving the same content. So they are all at one level. So that's some changes you may do in the programs or questions, right? So it becomes more student driven. It becomes bottom up. They may ask, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. Can we combine this? But when I do this emerging topics course, I ask them, what else do you want to learn? So they say, sir, we want to learn this. And later they say, sir, no, we asked that because so many things we are learning, we can't capture them in all this time. Of course, but then I push them to make them learn as much as possible, right? So there is an appropriate balance between online instructions and teacher-led instruction. So let's combine a student-centric and a teacher-centric mechanism and make it. So you personalize the learning experience, and of course the human element that I talk about. The teacher should be there. The teacher should talk to the students. Teacher should encourage the students and be compassionate, be caring, give guidance. Those things are missing when you move everything to a virtual world, right? And many times I turn on the camera to teach, because there's a connect. There's somebody moving before, and you connect with them. There's an eye contact. I'm not able to see all of you because you're all close, but then but we look at when we see this mechanism. There's an empathy. There's a communication, and when you see gestures, you try to understand. You assimilate things. So, and otherwise also students can meet and interact. Now, of course, various mediums are there where you can make a video call, or maybe you can chat, or maybe you can make a call on Google Meet or Teams or Zoom or anything, and then interact. It becomes more easy. Many times students are not able to come and meet, or they are traveling, or they are away. Part-time PhD students sometimes. Then I say, okay, let's have a Google Meet. Let's meet for some time. So only we two are there, or on WhatsApp call we're discussing, and they are sharing the content, and we are able to see through and discuss and explain. So various ways we can try to do it. So learners also will have more interest. They will have an interest for more longer, because you will have a variety of things to do. You'll give them a quiz, you'll give them an assignment, you'll give them problem to solve. You ask them to think through something. So you have a variety of things because you have a lot of time. You want to do all these, but you don't have time. But when you blend the lectures, you give the video recordings, you give your maybe earlier you have taken the same thing, you can get it recorded, and then you can give it. So the self-advocacy, trying to pick up self-learning is what you can try to do that. And the ownership is more with the students, right? And they can learn at their own pace, and you can prepare them for the future, continue to learn. So that is something that can happen. So there are various structures that we look at. It's a face-to-face class. It's a blended online class. It is a flipped classroom. It's a rotation model. Sometimes it is flipped, sometimes it is blended, sometimes it is face-to-face. You can do that. You can have a blended MOOC. You can have a completely flexible mode. And of course, there are a variety of modes that you can have. Learning management system like Canvas, or some other tools like Moodle. You must have been this thing, and a lot of these courses, e-postgraduate degree, I was mentioning, NPTEL, National Digital Library, and virtual and simulation labs. You can conduct some of the experiments without actually going to a physical lab. The physical interaction is there. You can actually set up those values, and then the experiment is conducted for you. And then the proctored examination solutions I talked about. Proctored examination is you are in an environment which is completely controlled. You have video recording, you have cameras on all sides. You sit before the system, and you cannot access anything other than your question paper. And you can take some self-help material that's permissible, like an open book system. But you can't browse the internet. Okay, you can't carry a mobile phone. You can't talk to anybody. You can't copy from anybody. So that's a proctored examination system. These are some solutions that we can look at. So how do I make or engage the class now when a lot of things I've already given to the students beforehand? So we ask them to generate ideas, do brainstorming, concept mapping or mind mapping. A lot of these mapping solutions are coming up for JEE students, for 12th class students. Mind maps is what they are giving. So to remember that whole content, so they create a map of that, right? So you need to create. So many things I can't remember, I can't by heart. So, but if you create a mind map, it's easy. So it takes time, creative presentations, and you give to real world exposure, and then also cooperative learning strategies. So these are some blended learning mechanisms. There is a challenge, of course. You need a lot of additional infrastructure. Of course, many of the institutions are setting up these infrastructures, cameras, what do you say, digital boards, where you write and you can save. So once you have written, the notes is ready, the slides are ready, the code is ready. So a lot of these devices, you may need desktops, you may need tabs, you may need laptops, you may need a graphics board, a stylus, a writing device, audio devices, smart board, all these things, and maybe satellite-based TV channel for mass learning. Some devices like Raspberry Pi, you can convert a TV to a smart TV, connect the internet, and then you can run that. Maybe you can have a remote VPN where a student can connect to his college resources and access, or from hostel or from home. All these things are required, right? So there are a variety of equipment that will be needed, IT infrastructure. This IPSIT framework is what they had talked about in that. Maybe I'll stop with this. If you have any questions, I'll be very happy to answer in the chat. You can write that. So IPSIT framework is identify resources and learner-centric activities. So we need to sit down and write that. Then provide resources and announce activities on a learning management system. Scaffolding and support to learners. So looking at where they are, grading them, and then grading them means segregating them, putting them in clusters, and then giving support which is needed for that cluster. If they're fast learners, you give a different kind of problems. If they're slow learners, to build their confidence, you give a different type of problems. And identification of learning gaps and feedback. And finally, repeat the whole process by testing it multiple times. Improve the cycle. So this is an IPSIT framework, right? So these are the infrastructure they already talked about. And towards the end, maybe you will need some softwares which are plagiarism check software maybe needed, because people are asked to submit their assignments, which they do, and we need to check whether they're copying or whether they've done it on their own, whether they have not copied from LLM. It's not a ChatGPT generated content, AI generated content. Is there recently we are organizing a conference and we are reviewing the papers, and Turnitin very clearly gives an AI generated content also. So whether if I ask some of the keywords and I ask ChatGPT to write a paper, it will write a paper like this, and I compare that with the existing paper, okay, and it shows the similarity. So it's very difficult these days because you are using AI, and the same AI can be used to check whether you have used AI or not, right? So it's a difficult challenge. But then, yeah, you can still defeat it for some time. But as the things become more intelligent, it will be difficult to do that. So this is the whole mechanism that may be needed to run a lot of these blended courses. If you want to bring them in the next session, I would like to look at something on how to create a MOOC course. I think some things were discussed on Moodle and other things, but again, I'm coming from a teacher's perspective. I don't want to make my teaching fully AI. Maybe some of you may not really, you may like all the tools that are being taught to you, but you may not actually want to use all those tools. So what I would suggest is try to blend them, bring them into this aspect, and we can do that, right? So let me share that this thing, the PDF that I told you. I will show you. So this is what was released by, hope you are able to see the PDF, right? So the blended mode of teaching and learning, it's a concept note, which was given by UGC, and they discussed this, and it was released sometime in 2020-21, right? And a lot of this content has been, it's about a 48-page document, which talks about the framework. And then if you want to, this was the slide that I shared with you. Some of the content is there. And I talked about IPSIT framework. It is coming here, right? It is an Indian framework for blended learning. So you can look at that. So you can go to this, you can search for this blended mode of teaching and learning concept note available on the PDF. Anyway, I will share with the organizers. They will share it in your lecture with you, right? If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Yeah, I think most of you can unmute and speak, I think. If anybody has any question. We are trying to look at a variety of things in this course. We did not have many of these thought process when we try to look at. So if somebody is not a panelist, you can raise your hands. We can make you the panelist. yeah, I think it's a new idea, so it will take some time for you to think through, and it makes the teacher's life a little difficult. So you may like, you may not like, but what I would suggest is let us not go to full blended mode, but let us try to bring in some of these concepts so that it becomes more and more easy to do that. So that's something we can, yeah. So we'll take a break for a few minutes, and we'll go through a lecture on MOOC. What are the challenges? What are the requirements? We'll come back. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So now we will conclude our today's session. Thank you all the participants for joining. You can leave now.